What is the Septuagint? Welcome to Bible on the Go with Dr. Dan. The Septuagint is a unique name and it just applies to one thing. The title means 70 and it's represented by the Roman numerals LXX. So when you see LXX which means 70, when you see it, like in a commentary, LXX says, and it goes on, it means it's the Septuagint. But that begs the question, what is the Septuagint? Well, it's really interesting. It's the oldest Greek dun, 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 translation of the Hebrew Old Testament. That's right. The Old Testament's written in Hebrew, but it was translated into Greek. And it also contains several apocryphal books. But that's a whole other video. Most New Testament quotations of the Old Testament, come to find out, are from the Septuagint, according to the Holman Illustrated Bible Dictionary. I also checked the International Standard Bible Encyclopedia, and it said something really profound. The work of translating the Hebrew scriptures into another tongue was unprecedented in the Hellenistic world. And that word right there, Hellenistic, describes everything. Of course, Alexander the Great had conquered the whole ancient Near East and spread Helen of Troy's culture like crazy, including imposing the Greek language on all the residents. Well, the fact is that the Jews in Alexandria, Egypt, were so devoted to the Jewish faith, they saw this coming. And so they insisted that the work get done to translate the Hebrew scriptures into Greek. And that's how these 70 scholars, which is the culture, the legacy of this, did the work to translate the Old Testament from the original Hebrew into Greek, and it became widespread. So, what's so really interesting is the more I read about this, is I was reminded that the theological terms of the New Testament, for example, such as law, righteousness, mercy, truth, propitiation, were taken directly from the Septuagint and must be understood in the light of their use in that version. In fact, Bible scholars know that you have to take the Septuagint seriously, because when the New Testament authors are quoting from the Old Testament, 9 times out of 10, they're quoting from the Septuagint, which of course makes a whole lot of sense. It was widespread in the ancient world, I should say in Second Temple Judaism. It was widespread and used so much that it's fair to say that the apostles were quoting from the Septuagint, and it could even be, possible that when Jesus read from the prophet Isaiah, right, that he was reading from the Septuagint. Now, did they write it on scrolls? Absolutely, they wrote the Septuagint on scrolls, because it was all the way that far back before papyri, before they started putting them in the book form, right? So, I'm digressing. It had a tremendous effect, the Septuagint, on the influence on Christian canon. In fact, derives its titles from the Septuagint rather than the Hebrew. For example, Numbers. Okay, so it's an important document for understanding both the Old Testament and the New. And so, when you're reading Paul or Luke and they quote from the Old Testament, they are likely quoting from the Septuagint. Thanks for watching Bible on the Go with Dr. Dan. If you like these videos, one of the best things you can do is subscribe. But another really good thing that you do is share and talk about this channel. I appreciate all of you who did. Last month, we had 86 shares. That's the only time I find out about shares is when I get my month in review thing. It was amazing. Thanks for watching. Praise God.